Before sunrise touches the Atlantic, black volcanic cliffs erupt from freezing water, launching mist and thunder skyward, like Earth suddenly remembering its unfinished creation today. Here, glaciers grind mountains into powder, while boiling springs punch through snowfields, and the wind moves across empty plains like an invisible animal testing territory. Rivers born from blue ice carve black deserts overnight, carrying the cold memory of ancient winters toward a violent ocean that never stops moving today. Some landscapes welcome you slowly, but this one confronts you instantly, with fire under glaciers and storms rehearsing destruction across horizons that appear almost planetary today. Waterfalls the size of collapsing buildings hurl themselves into canyons, roaring so loudly the air vibrates like machinery powering a continent-sized echo chamber tonight. Steam escapes the ground in ghostly columns, as if the planet itself breathes here, slow and ancient beneath layers of ice and lava today, quietly. Mountains rise like broken teeth along the horizon, their slopes painted with moss so bright it feels unreal against fields of cooled volcanic stone today. Then the camera pulls higher, revealing emptiness stretching for hundreds of kilometers, a raw island drifting between continents in the cold North Atlantic tonight, alone. Roads appear thin and fragile, tiny gray threads crossing lava plains that look freshly forged by forces still working somewhere beneath the restless crust today. At first glance, it feels empty, yet every direction hides movement, pressure, heat, ice, wind, water, every element negotiating dominance over the same wild ground. Volcanoes sleep beneath glaciers thicker than skyscrapers are tall, storing pressure quietly while tourists photograph landscapes unaware of the violence waiting patiently below the surface. This island was born where tectonic plates pull apart slowly, allowing magma to rise, freeze, crack, erupt, and build land faster than erosion removes it. Glaciers crawl across volcanoes, volcanoes melt glaciers from below, and rivers race outward carrying both ice and fire toward distant roaring coastlines tonight again today. Few places on Earth display the planet's machinery so openly, gears of geology turning in daylight, while weather writes temporary patterns across the restless surface. Stand here long enough, and the silence becomes intimidating, because nothing truly rests. Every mountain, glacier, and shoreline slowly shifting under invisible pressures, tonight again. Winter buries the island in darkness and storms, while summer reveals endless daylight, exposing landscapes that look like unfinished chapters of creation still unfolding today. Pilots approaching from the ocean often mistake lava fields for another planet entirely, until sudden green valleys appear like secret corridors of life today, unexpectedly. Because this is not just wilderness, it is Earth under construction, a place where the crust breathes, cracks, freezes, melts, and reshapes itself every year. Here, the Atlantic storms collide with Arctic air, forging weather that can transform calm sunlight into blinding snow within a single hour, without warning today. This impossible frontier has a name, whispered by explorers, pilots, and scientists who understand its power, a volcanic island called Iceland, standing alone in oceans. Dawn spreads pale gold across a glacier that moves so slowly human eyes miss it, yet every hour the ice advances with continental patience today. Beneath the frozen surface, meltwater tunnels roar like hidden rivers inside a cathedral made entirely of compressed centuries of snowfall, echoing through blue chambers tonight. Suddenly, the glacier calves, and a tower of ice collapses into black water, releasing thunder that rolls across valleys like distant artillery, echoing endlessly tonight. Silence follows briefly, broken only by drifting ice grinding together like slow glass machinery floating through the cold northern sea under pale skies tonight. Far inland, rivers explode from glaciers in sudden floods, turning quiet gravel plains into roaring silver highways racing toward the ocean with unstoppable momentum today. Waterfalls appear everywhere, thousands of them, thin ribbons, massive curtains, hidden cascades dropping from cliffs carved by ice ages long before memory began here today. One river plunges into a basalt canyon so deep sunlight barely reaches the bottom, where mist spins endlessly like breath from the planet itself today. Wind crosses volcanic deserts, carrying black sand that rattles against rocks like quiet percussion in a landscape that never truly rests tonight either, anywhere here. Moss grows slowly across lava fields, painting violent geology with fragile green softness that takes decades to recover from a single footprint left behind carelessly. Then rain arrives sideways, driven by Atlantic storms that sweep across the island with sudden force and theatrical darkening skies rolling above restless mountains tonight. Clouds break open over geothermal valleys where turquoise pools simmer quietly, steam drifting upward through cold air like signals from hidden laboratories beneath Earth today. The ground here is warm enough to bake bread underground, while glaciers remain visible on distant peaks, glowing under sharp northern light this morning today. Lava once flowed through these valleys like liquid night, swallowing forests and rivers before cooling into jagged fields stretching beyond the horizon for kilometers today. Yet life returns patiently, grasses gripping cracks, birds circling cliffs, and Arctic foxes moving silently across tundra shaped by fire and stubborn survival instincts today. The island breathes through geysers that erupt suddenly, blasting boiling water skyward before collapsing back into quiet, steaming pools, waiting patiently for pressure again today. Every eruption rewrites the ground, minerals staining earth orange, red, and sulfur yellow, like abstract paintings spread across valleys under dramatic northern skies today again. Glacial lagoons gather broken icebergs that drift slowly toward the sea, glowing blue like frozen lanterns under shifting clouds reflecting pale sunlight tonight again today. Seals surface between the ice, watching quietly while waves nudge ancient fragments of glaciers toward black volcanic beaches shaped by relentless Atlantic swells tonight again. Evening light stretches across mountains and waterfalls simultaneously, revealing a land constantly moving, even when everything appears calm under endless northern daylight today, again here. In Iceland, nature never truly pauses, it only changes tempo, shifting from whispering steam to roaring water within a single turning hour again and again. Humans arrived late to this restless island, carrying timber ships, stubborn ambition, and fragile dreams of farms beneath volcanoes and glaciers that watched silently above. Early settlers carved turf houses into hillsides, using earth itself as shelter against winds that could erase footprints within minutes during brutal northern winters here. Fishing villages clung to narrow fjords where cliffs drop violently into dark water, boats returning carefully between storms and shifting tides under gray skies today. For centuries, survival meant reading clouds, glaciers, and oceans correctly, because mistakes here were rarely forgiven by wind, ice, darkness, or sudden volcanic fire tonight. Stories spread of farms buried by ash when volcanoes erupted without warning beneath massive ice caps, sending floods racing across valleys, destroying fields overnight here. When subglacial eruptions melt kilometers of ice, entire rivers appear instantly, tearing bridges away like toys, while dark water charges across plains, unstoppable tonight again. Yet the island's capital grew beside a smoky bay, warmed by geothermal energy rising naturally from underground, powering homes through long winters quietly today, here. Streets filled with color even during snowstorms, small houses painted bright against lava fields and northern darkness, refusing surrender to weather outside their doors today. Beyond the city lie abandoned farms where ash once fell so thick sunlight disappeared, leaving silent fields and collapsed barns facing endless winds alone today. Rusting boats rest on black beaches, reminders that the ocean here feeds communities, yet constantly threatens them with storms, waves, and winter darkness tonight again. Roads circle the island carefully, engineers building bridges that must survive floods born from glaciers and volcanoes simultaneously, testing human design against relentless geology. Daily. Power plants tap underground heat, turning volcanic pressure into electricity that lights homes during endless winter nights, proving survival sometimes means partnering with fire below. Still, the land reminds everyone who truly leads this partnership whenever ash clouds darken skies, grounding aircraft, closing roads, and rewriting plans overnight again today. In 2010, a single eruption beneath ice halted flights across Europe, proving this small island can shake continents with drifting ash clouds alone. Farmers rebuilt again afterward, clearing fields patiently, while volcanoes continued sleeping nearby under glaciers, reminding everyone the story here is never finished or safe today. Tourists now arrive searching for beauty, yet locals understand beauty here always travels with risk, because mountains and oceans still decide every quiet tomorrow today. Search teams train constantly for storms, avalanches, and travelers who underestimate landscapes that look peaceful until weather changes and whiteout blizzards erase direction instantly today. Lighthouses guard remote coasts where waves smash volcanic cliffs with relentless patience, warning sailors that navigation here requires humility before wind, sea, and stone tonight. Every generation learns the same lesson, quietly repeated by eruptions, storms, and shifting glaciers, that humans borrow this land only temporarily, never completely safely here. Icelandic life continues anyway, resilient villages glowing warmly against a landscape that never promised comfort, yet still inspires people to stay, build, adapt, endure here. Far north, the highlands stretch empty, a wilderness of ash deserts, glaciers, and mountains without villages, roads, or shelter for hundreds of kilometers today alone. Storms roll across this interior suddenly, turning sunlight into horizontal snow that erases tracks within seconds, leaving travelers alone with wind and endless white silence. In winter, darkness lasts nearly entire days, while auroras ripple above glaciers like silent electric oceans flowing across the polar sky tonight again, today here. Beneath that sky lie volcanoes capable of rewriting maps within hours, sending lava across valleys, while ash columns climb into jet streams high above continents. One eruption can melt glaciers instantly, unleashing floods carrying ice blocks the size of buildings, racing across plains, destroying roads, bridges, and everything downstream tonight. Offshore, cliffs host millions of seabirds screaming above pounding Atlantic waves, while puffins launch awkward flights from grassy ledges, balancing life between wind and water. In remote valleys, Arctic foxes patrol silently through moss and snow, hunting birds and eggs beneath midnight sunlight that refuses to set during summer here. Whales surface beyond black beaches, enormous shapes moving slowly through cold water older than human history, breathing clouds of mist into sharp northern air today. Lava fields, still warm from recent eruptions, stretch like frozen oceans across the horizon, reminding visitors that creation here remains unfinished, restless, and powerful today. Helicopters sometimes land beside steaming fissures where new earth pushes upwards through cracked crust, revealing glowing rock, slowly cooling into tomorrow's mountains and valleys here. Scientists monitor tremors constantly, listening for whispers that precede violent geological change beneath glaciers, deserts, and quiet towns, waiting for signals from deep magma below. Because here, the boundary between stability and eruption is thinner than anywhere else, where continents slowly separate and magma climbs upward, seeking light again today. Travelers who venture deepest into the highlands often describe overwhelming silence, broken only by wind, distant waterfalls, and shifting gravel beneath their boots today, here. That silence feels powerful, like standing inside a machine older than civilization itself, where glaciers grind mountains slowly into sand for future oceans someday ahead. Night eventually returns, revealing stars above, glaciers reflecting faint silver light across valleys where rivers continue carving stone, even while humans sleep safely below tonight. Far offshore, storms gather strength before striking the island again, reminding everyone that Iceland stands alone between Arctic air and the restless Atlantic, forever exposed. Yet people remain, watching volcanoes, studying glaciers, adapting constantly, because living here means understanding power, rather than pretending control ever truly belonged to humanity anyway. The island continues changing, even while cameras capture its beauty, because every glacier, river, storm, and eruption quietly edits the map again and again here. Long after travelers leave, wind and water continue shaping cliffs and valleys, reminding the world that this land answers only to time, fire, ice itself. Iceland is not gentle scenery. It is Earth thinking out loud, a restless force shaping land, sea, sky, and anyone who dares witness it Here,